Welcome to Last Neanderthals podcast. Today we're doing a reflection episode. It's been 3 months since we started podcasting, and today we're going to talk about the guests that we have had on and what did we think of them. So Wally, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. I've just recovered from a demonic illness, so now I'm feeling fresh and fantastic.
I'm relieved because you got a boxing match coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels good to be able to breathe again properly, and my throat feels nice. It's amazing, bro. How are you?
I missed you, man, because for a couple of days you didn't speak to me.
Yeah,
I didn't hear the demonic voice.
I didn't
Yeah.
speak to anyone, bro. I
Yeah.
secluded myself.
Yeah.
But nah, I'm feeling much better now, which is good. It's all that matters.
So you managed to do something like incredible. You achieved 8% of recovery on Whoop, and then 2 days later you achieved 2%.
Yeah, bro. I think that might be a world record, you know.
That is crazy, man.
Because I genuinely did not know it could go that low on
Yeah.
Whoop. Like, because I've been ill before. I'm pretty sure I had COVID at one point while I've been using this Whoop. And the lowest it's been before this was like 33% and 34%. Bro, it went to 2% during this illness.
That's crazy.
I almost ran out of charge,
Oh
bro.
my god.
That is
Yeah.
absolutely insane. But how have you been? How's your injury going?
I'm recovering. I helped pass for you today.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
silly.
That was silly, but I got physio on Tuesday. The guy said like you can like I meant to run a half marathon on 7th of April. He said we can get you ready for that date. So that's less than 2 months, I think, right?
Yeah.
So that's quite promising. So it shouldn't be
Yeah.
too long.
Yeah, hopefully he's right. Hopefully
Yeah.
it's not that suggests it's not too bad of an injury, which is a
Yeah.
good thing. And
Yeah.
7th of April is my birthday, so
Yeah,
it's a
let's
great
go.
date. But no, yeah, it's been a interesting past few weeks, interesting podcasts
Yes.
we did, especially the first one.
Yes.
Well, all of
Rihanna.
them were interesting. I take back this especially, but this one was just so out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Like the whole experiment, everything. So let's talk about it. It was first guest this month was Rehan Alawala.
Yes.
What did you think of that episode?
That was fascinating. I had so many questions. I think it was 1 hour 30 minutes, but I feel like we didn't have time to just discuss everything in detail. Like that could have been a 3-hour podcast.
yeah.
Very interesting. The guy runs a school where there is no maths, no science, no traditional subjects,
Yeah, no writing.
no writing
even.
as well.
Yeah.
All you learn about is editing, how to use computers, I'm sure, AI. You learn how to use ChatGPT effectively. I think the students also interview people, and it's a very unique concept. You know, it really tries to focus on how equipping the students for the new world, which is the digital world, and them being able to make money from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's two sides to this coin. Like, obviously, it's amazing, it's fascinating, and someone is taking this step, like trying to revolutionize education. But also, it's scary. It is
Yeah.
very, very scary. Like, what is going to happen to these kids? It's an experiment with their lives,
Yeah.
which is insane because education is not a joke, man. If you get it wrong, you've ruined that kid's life
Yeah.
forever. But I mean, he said they're kids from like the slum areas, they wouldn't have any opportunities otherwise, and he's helping them earn $500 a month, which is probably like 10x what their household is earning anyway, which is obviously a very positive thing. And it's preparing kids for multiple like different things in life. Like
Yeah.
the SDG thing, the UN goals thing was very interesting. Basically, they give each child a goal to work towards, whether that's like solving climate change or solving the water crisis in Pakistan, like these heavy goals that like kids in year 5, year 6, year 7 usually would not really know very
Yeah.
much about. He tasks them with solving these, and they have to watch like TED Talks on them,
Yeah.
interview the leading people on them, make their own TED Talks on them. So it is a very interesting concept, and I'm very interested to see where it's going to go in the future. But boy, is it concerning as well.
Yeah, it's very risky. I mean, he said it's an experiment, right?
Yeah.
I hope he's got like backup options with some of these kids in case it's not for them,
Yeah.
because people are different, and everyone's, this might not work for all the students. So yeah, man, it's I also, you gotta respect the courage. A lot of people would not do this.
Yeah.
He said that he gets a lot of like criticism from like people in the traditional education system, but I'm glad he's trying something new, right? But he, like you said, it has to be done with ultra care.
Yeah,
Ultra
exactly.
Care,
And even some of the points he brought up were quite interesting, like the Annie thing, how it can translate several different languages. Obviously, he said it can translate Pashto, which we checked with him later, and that
Yeah.
wasn't quite correct. But Urdu, it was
so
translating
AI
Urdu
is
to
app.
English.
Like
Annie.
Annie is an AI app, which you basically communicate with, just for the context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was really fascinating. Like, we would ask it a question in Urdu and then it would reply and give a translation in English.
Yeah.
So it can really change the way people in these third world countries can make a living, because you don't now you don't need to be speaking fluent English to like communicate with someone who does speak English. You can translate it using these apps, and you can make videos, make content, all of this stuff, which is truly amazing to think about, that a kid in the slums in Pakistan can make a life for himself just using AI.
Yeah, and this is what I commend Rehan for, because he's really promoting AI,
Yeah.
because it's gonna give such a huge advantage, like that these people never had before. Like AI is gonna make things a lot easier for people, and if this technology is not utilized, but the gap it will also create would be massive. So people who don't have access to AI in developing countries, it's like not having a phone.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it's gonna become. So the fact that he's raising awareness for that, I really commend it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is there are very commendable things about what he's doing, but again, it is just so scary, man.
Yeah.
Even the concept that they take half of the wage that the kids earns, it's like you're making them work for you
Yeah.
almost for free, because obviously he says we teach them these skills to earn the money, and then we take half the money as like school fees basically.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a weird thing, isn't it? Because then you're basically making the kids pay for you. You give them a free internship for a bit, and then you're making them work.
Yeah, there's an age thing. Should you be getting young kids to do that? And another thing that was a bit problematic was that he said by year 8 they have to be earning $800.
Yeah.
That was the language that was used, which is, we pushed him back on it, that what if these kids are not earning? And he was like, oh, if they're doing the right things, they should be earning that. But you can never have guarantees.
Yeah.
You know, what's the procedure if that is, like how much tolerance will there be if they're failing to achieve these goals?
Yeah.
That's
Exactly. The have thing is a bit mad, and we didn't get an exact clear answer on what happens if they don't earn $500 a month, which again is scary. Like, I don't know, it would be very fascinating to actually go to the school in person and see what it's like, and speak to the students.
100%. I think that interview made me want to go and look at the school, how it is on ground level. So I mean, I wish Rehan all the best, because what he's doing is it requires a lot of courage, but I hope he's more open to criticism, because he said that he's not humble in one way, and that's like opinions from educationists.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope he's because the thing is, you don't have to agree with what other people have to say, with everything they have to say, but you should be willing to listen to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone. I don't care who it is, right? Even if it's a foolish man, let's say, on paper, you should be able to listen to anyone, because then you will know what not to do, which is also important, what to do. And because you don't want to be looking back and like, what, I should have paid more attention to what the other person said, because now I'm really suffering the consequences of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me the main thing was just that the kids have to pay half of their wages to the school.
Yeah.
That to me was concerning. And like, for how long does that go on? Is that their whole life, all the income they make, does that go to the school, or is it just while they're actively at the school do they have to pay them? But it is just weird. Like, I don't know the concept of a kid in year 8 having to pay the school fees. Like, if something like this is being done, the system and the funding should be in place already to where, you know what I mean? Like, the kids don't have to work for you. Because in this case, it is basically the kids are working for him.
Yeah. For now, I think he's getting funds for it.
Yeah.
But in
when
future,
they start making money.
When they start making money. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because then it's basically he has probably like 1 year of investment, 2 years of investment into the kids. And then after that, it's straight cash, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it is just ethically, it's a very weird concept.
Yeah.
As well.
I wonder what the laws behind this is.
Yeah, well, in the UK, it's probably not
Yeah.
legal. Because that's child labour, innit?
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
But no, it is really fascinating. I wonder what is going to happen with it. Especially, the most interesting part is that they're making each kid like a specialist in a specific field, which is like they're making them interview.
It's such a young age, though.
Yeah.
Kids change their mind. Like, at age 18, I wanted to do one thing. 20, I wanted to do another.
Yeah.
After uni, I want to do another. And to like, kind of like make them like, okay, this is the thing you're going to be working towards.
Yeah,
and
but
this is
also
your goal in life. You know?
These are kids from like slums who will not really have much opportunities in life. So if they can truly, from year 5, like become an expert in this one field, that could genuinely change their whole life. And then if all of these guys are friends and they're experts in all these different fields and they have like the best network in all these different fields, like, bro, he's created the Avengers in real life.
If it goes right, then it's going so right.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing with it. If it goes right, then he's created the next Pakistani future leaders.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, the education that he's providing, like who listens to TED Talks in Pakistan?
Yeah.
That's gonna give them such a huge advantage. Like, there are things like that I'm like, wow, even these people in the UK should be applying it. I even said it in the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, some of the things you're teaching, like for example, saying no to the teachers, all of these things, all these concepts, like they're brilliant, man.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
really are brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, I wish some of the things he's doing in that school, I wish it was done in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the alarm bells raise when they're like, oh, they have to sustain themselves or things of that nature. So yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I didn't, like was on his business card, the next Greta Thunberg, Malala, and we're trying to make the next Malala basically. Right? I think giving that kind of expectation on a kid, like they can outdo Malala, by the way. I have no doubt that some of these kids they're capable of doing amazing things. But like, we don't like these people like Malala, right? There was a crisis of what people were going through at the time, Talibanization.
Yeah.
And a Malala rose. Do we need more Malalas? Like, it's just like,
yeah, it's like you can't manufacture.
You can't manufacture,
like
right? Like, you can't, because then you're wishing for settings like that.
Yeah.
In a way, right? Like, they should be the next who they want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
They shouldn't have to be the next Malala. They shouldn't have to be the next Greta Thunberg. Go ahead, shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
Right? But like, a person shouldn't be a target. Oh, I want to be like this person.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
shouldn't be the end goal.
I agree with that.
You know?
Yeah. I agree. Just let them be their own people, their own individuals. Like, what you're doing is what this like leadership things that is being instilled in them. That is impressive. You don't need like this selling point of he kept mentioning on the podcast as well, like Greta Thunberg and Malala. but it's just unnecessary. Let the kids be great as they are. They don't need to
Yeah.
like idolize another human being. Like, it's just not a good mindset to be in overall, I think. Like, obviously you can admire other people, but to be like, oh, I'm gonna be that person, it's just weird.
It is weird, yeah. And we don't. The thing is, we need the next best version of them.
Yeah.
Do you get me? Like there will be global issues where we won't need the next Malala per se.
Yeah.
We will need the best version of who they're gonna be.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
you get me? We don't need replicas. We don't need like NPCs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we don't need copies.
Exactly, and it creates a bit of a contradiction, because if you're creating this sort of like emotional intelligence, leadership skills, these people really need to be confident and comfortable in themselves and be a bit different from all these other like NPC types of humans in the world. But then you're telling them to like, they're to strive for another human being to be like that. Like, that is not... Like, Alexander the Great doesn't go out into the world and think, oh, I'm going to be the next Julius Caesar or
Achilles or
one of them, man. Well, actually, Caesar came after.
Caesar came, Achilles is the one. Don't worry, I got you.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you are truly going to be a great person, a leader, like, just be yourself, have your own goals. You don't need to like make an idol out of another human being.
100%. And on to the next guest.
Who is the next guest? Nabiha.
Nabiha is so funny.
Yeah, she is. That was a very funny podcast. To be honest.
I don't think I've laughed on the last Neanderthal podcast as much as I did with her.
Yeah, no, she was a great guest, and we've had her on the Neanderthoughts podcast before, but that isn't really the same format, because that is just like we discuss current topics and like trends and whatever's going on in the news, whereas this time we got to actually delve deeper into Nabiha's story, which was really interesting, because there's a lot that I didn't know, which was quite fascinating.
Yeah.
So what was your key takeaway from the Nabiha podcast?
My key takeaway was how dangerous her life was in Karachi. I didn't realize that, like what her father had gone through, and then moving here, living through the homeless shelter, and how that made her feel grateful. And what else was my key takeaway? That podcast was so fun that I don't kind of remember. I don't know. What was your key takeaway?
Again, it was probably like the homeless, the refugee shelter and all of that stuff, like how difficult it was moving to the UK for her, because when I moved here, it was much easier. My uncle was already living here, and I already, my mum already had a British passport, so it was really easy for us. And I think it's very important for people to listen to that, especially if you are in the UK and you have this feeling now, which a lot of people do, an animosity towards refugees and immigrants. I think it's well worth watching that podcast and seeing what people like this actually go through and why they are coming to the UK, because it's difficult, man. The conditions, they said there was like 5 of them in a 1-bedroom apartment and they're barely getting any food and things like that. So I think it's well worth a listen.
100%. It was one of my favorite podcasts.
Yeah,
definitely.
It was very funny. And Nabiha is a very good guest as well, because obviously she's an intelligent girl. She's doing medicine at uni, but she is also a content creator, and she's just a bubbly person. So like you said, the conversation overall was very funny as well as like insightful too.
Yeah. She's very easy to talk to. My favorite part of the conversation was when we talked about relationships.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When we talked about the tendencies. The maximizer, the romanticizer, and the hesitator.
Yeah.
And like basically the challenges we face in modern relationships where we're too hesitant. We want to be our best version of ourselves before we want to get married. So that would be a hesitator. A romanticizer would be like, oh, I want to meet them in a French restaurant and he's got blonde hair, blue eyes, you know. So that was very interesting, where we just kind of got to know each other more.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
also interesting seeing how big of a part that played in Nabiha's decision making, like the potential of finding a husband, because she said she almost didn't go to med school because she thought she wouldn't be able to find a husband there.
Yeah, because she went to all the way to Scotland to study,
Yeah.
right?
That's where
And
she
she
got
was-
an offer from.
Offer from, and she was like, you know, will I be able to find an ethnic husband
Yeah.
all the way in Scotland?
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, imagine giving up on your dream
Yeah.
because of that. Especially what she would have been 18, 19, 20 at
Yeah.
the time. That's mad, bro.
Bro, women have to think about so much.
Yeah.
We boys, we just go.
No, to be fair, it's important to think about that, I think. It's a massive decision. It's like the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with, the person that's going to raise your kids with you. That's
Yeah.
crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That can't be a small decision.
But uni, I've been putting the expectation on uni, like that you're
Yeah.
gonna find that person in uni. That's also a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Because if
true.
you don't find them in uni, I haven't.
Yeah, then you're
Then it's kind
stressing.
of done for.
Yeah, then you're stressing, like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
But there were few fascinating conversations in there. Like, she said she wouldn't marry a white guy.
Yeah.
Which is, she said it in a very funny way, which, I mean, the thing is, as brown people, as Asian people, it's kind of normal to hear that and for people to say that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if a white person said that, they're getting hate, bro.
Yeah. If they said, oh, they don't want to marry an Asian person,
Which I think they shouldn't get hate for that.
it's personal preference.
Exactly.
I don't make it a race thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, like, for some people, the difference in culture is a difference in compatibility, like a
Yeah.
mismatch. For other people, it might not be. But for some people, like, if you don't speak the same language as their parents, if you don't have the same religion, like, these are big issues to a lot
Yeah.
of people. So I don't think anyone should be judged for that.
100%. Because especially the language barrier. Like, if you get married to a household where you don't understand their language, you might feel like an outcast.
Mm,
And you don't want to feel, especially if your partner is a family person,
yeah.
and you're constantly around family, and then, you know, you don't know what's happening around you. You're going to feel so alienated.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care who you are, you'll eventually start feeling alienated.
Exactly.
Even I do sometimes. When I spend like a long day at my friend's house and they're speaking in their native tongue, I feel like I should know their tongue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It is normal. And even other cultural things, like, for example, drinking alcohol and like eating pork and stuff. Like, for me, I wouldn't want my kids to drink alcohol. I wouldn't want them to eat pork.
Yeah.
But how that creates confusion if, as one parent, I'm telling them that this is not okay. But then, for example, they go to their grandparents' house, who, for them, that's been normal their whole life, and they're munching on pork, drinking alcohol. The kid's going to be confused. Like,
Yeah.
what is actually right? What is not right? What is okay for me to do, but might not be okay for someone else, and vice versa.
A lot of mixed race kids go through that,
Yeah.
especially them.
Yeah, and it's sad because, so for example, if the kid is half Pakistani, half white, they don't feel accepted by the Pakistani side, and they also don't feel accepted by the white side.
Yeah.
So they fit in nowhere, which is really sad, and that should not be the case. But then if I'm looking at that and I'm choosing a partner, do I want that for my kids? Do I want to increase the probability of that happening?
Yeah.
Not really. I'm not saying it's going to happen in every case, but do I really want to take that risk?
What if you love that person? You
Well,
just madly
this
in
is
love.
what else we said. Is love enough?
Is love enough?
I don't
Yeah.
think so,
Mm.
personally. Because, bro, I don't know, like, everyone has these feelings. I don't know if emotions are enough. Like, I care very deeply about a lot of people. I'm just a bit cringy to say, but I'm quite a caring person, even though I don't really show it outwardly. But is that enough for someone to become the mother of my children. Like, it's not just about me and her at that point. We have to raise kids as well.
Yeah.
And they're the priority. So even if I really care about this person, I really love them, I feel like I'd be selfish if I don't put the potential future kids first. Do you know what I mean? Because my parents have always put me first. So then it would be a bit silly of me to not do the same. What do you think?
I feel like if you then just put the kids first and you don't love the person you're with, you somewhat like them,
Yeah.
then that's also very
Yeah, no,
difficult.
obviously you can't, you hate someone, but
But then love is a necessity.
it is important, but I don't think it's enough. Do you think you have one soulmate, one person, or do you think there's multiple people you can
There's
be?
multiple people. I don't want to believe in the idea that there's just one soulmate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, even like someone could feel like a soulmate in your 20s and then they not be your soulmate in your 30s.
Mm.
You know, it's like the hot and cold person.
Mm.
It's like some people come with a hot energy, that ecstatic energy. You know, they come with a lot of like drama, excitement, adventurous. But then later on in your life, you're like, nah, man, I just want to chill. Just give me just put on the TV.
Yeah.
You know, like, it changes. So I don't think there's such thing as soulmate, because your idea of romance, everything changes,
Yeah.
and so will that person. I was listening to a podcast by Jay Shetty, and he was talking about like some people, they meet their soulmate, right? They're madly in love and they think they understand each other. Then years go by, and they're like, I didn't marry this person. Like, who is this? He said the reason why that happens is because you guys didn't get to know each other, and you have to do that constantly. It's not a one-time thing. You have to constantly get to know each other. When life challenges come, when you have a kid, when job thingy changes, you need to ask your partner what they're going through. What are they learning? How is it changing them? Because people are ever changing.
Yeah, that is true.
And if you don't notice the change, then you might be like, is this the same person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, yeah, it's hard, man. I don't know how that decision is going to be made. It must be so fucking difficult to
It's
choose.
scary.
Yeah.
I think commitment is one of the scariest things. And marriage is, I mean, if you really think about it, it's a big decision, because you're deciding to choose one person for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you have to make it work.
Yeah.
There is either you win in this or you lose.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just and it's not a 1 day, 1 year test, 2 year test. It's a test for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
For the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's insane because you go instantly from just being responsible for yourself to being responsible now for another human being as well.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, it goes from then me and you to just us. Like, then it's a unit. There's no individual you and I anymore. It's together. Like, it's a team now. And especially then when you have kids, like, that's what it's got to be. There's got to be a greater good involved. It can't be like each person looking out for themselves first and then the family second.
Yeah.
You know
Family has to then come first, right?
Yeah.
So if things are not working out, and then it's like, God forbid, you have to do divorce and things of that nature, you could literally traumatize kids for the rest of their life.
Exactly.
It is such a heavy...
That's why, it's such a hard decision, and I feel like people rush into it way too much, and like they just fall in love, and they think that is enough. But like I said, I don't think it is. Like, the divorce rates are like 52% here now in the UK.
That's crazy, man. That's
Bro,
like every 2 people you meet,
one of
them has gotten divorced.
Yeah. It's
That
insane.
is insane.
And bro, this is what I mean. Like, something must be going wrong. Like, all these people lecturing you about, oh, this is what you should do, this is what relationships should be like. We have this idea in these Western countries. Like, it can't be right, bro, if the divorce rate is over 50%. I feel like a lot of people are doing something wrong. Over 50% get a divorce. Imagine the ones that are married but miserable in the marriage. The number of successful marriages must be so low.
low, yeah. Yeah, just because they didn't get divorced, is it even a happy marriage?
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
they even happy?
And if the husband and wife are married, let's say is successful in that case, what if they're neglecting the children? Like,
Yeah.
there's
Well, what about? There's so many factors.
yeah, exactly.
There's so
Bro, this is why it's such a difficult decision. Like, I feel like finding that person is going to be so difficult.
Yeah. Even our next guest, Amna Beg.
No.
So.
Next guess is Matt.
Matt's-
Amna's for the.
Oh, okay, for the other one.
So
But anyways,
do
I'll
that
quote
again.
Amna. Anyways, Amna said that choosing a partner is probably one of the biggest decisions you have to make in your life.
Mm.
Yeah. It will literally determine, like, especially for a woman, her
Yeah.
freedom, her autonomy. Like, it's whether you have a good life or not, it will be massively determined by the partner you choose.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, on that note, should we move on to the next guest?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Matt, what a guy.
Matt Swain, yeah, what a guy.
What did you think of that?
Well, that podcast was, I'm still feeling inspired and energetic. Matt knows how, all about branding. Like, the guy has got so much knowledge. He is so good at speaking. He's so generous. You know, any question you ask him, he listens so well.
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing about him. The guy is a listener. And the thing is, he's also a very good speaker because he gets straight to the point. There is no like going around the block and then coming to the destination. That guy gets straight to the destination.
Yeah.
And we needed that conversation because, you know, in this podcast, to get sponsorships is extremely important. And a lot of people who want to make it in the influencer scene, that podcast is a must watch.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a hustler as well. Like, he was working as we went to meet him.
Yeah.
He was finishing off some work, and then on the train back, he was working as well. And obviously, doing the podcast is work too.
Yeah.
He helped us with our work as well. Like,
Yeah.
constantly just doing work. Like you said, he was very generous. He gave us a lot of good advice. Like, genuinely, I think that has changed probably where this podcast is going to go in the short term, which will then change where it's going to go in the long term as well, because of how helpful his advice was. And yeah, if you are interested in branding, any sort of growth, really, that is an important podcast to listen to, because he's worked with like Stephen Bartlett, Diary of CEO. He's worked with Gymshark, and we learned so much from
100%. And it wasn't just like the influencers stuff and the branding stuff, also spiritual, you know, breaking out of your old habits, becoming connected with your body, the ancient wisdom. A lot of people refer to this as ancient wisdom that is neglected in our world. We are all focused on the mind, but becoming in touch with your body is so important as well. And yeah, man, I loved it. What were you most impressed about Matt?
I think the commitment he made, because he was working in the finance sector. He had a really good job going for him, and he just left it all behind to commit to do something he was more passionate about, which takes a lot of courage, to be honest. Especially because he did it a few years ago now, where it wasn't like as booming as it is at the moment. Like, that must have been such a big leap of faith. I think that was the most impressive thing. What about you?
Yeah, I think similarly, like he was working for KPMG, which is, I mean, one of the biggest companies you can work for in the UK. I think his honesty about what he had gone through, like the struggles he faced and how he overcame them. So I really appreciated his vulnerability. It's hard for guests to open up on a podcast, and I think he opened up. And yeah, man, I love talking to him.
Yeah, same. He was just genuinely seemed like a nice guy, to be honest, which was the best part, and gave us signed copies of his book as well, which was fantastic. Have you read it yet?
Nah, I need to read it.
Slacker.
Yeah, you haven't read it either.
Yeah, I have, bro. Go and ask me a question.
You have?
Yeah, go and ask me a question about it.
Okay, what does he talk about? towards the end of the book.
Oh, that's too vague, bro. Let's move on. But no, I haven't read it yet. But the cover of that book was so nice. I don't know what it was made from, but it felt so satisfying.
That's the cover I want to use, and also like the picture as well.
Yeah, it was a cool picture too.
Yeah, very cool.
Obviously, we can't comment on the content of the book.
Yeah, not
Because
yet.
we've not read it yet.
Not yet, but we'll read it and let you know.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fascinating because even some of the stuff he told us after the podcast, which he didn't mention on the podcast, was really interesting about his ill health and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another fantastic podcast.
Yes, absolutely loved it, man. Such a rewarding project this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so rewarding, man. I'm so grateful to be doing it with you as well.
Same, bro.
Because you hold me to excellent standard, so there's no slacking with you. It's just either you're all in or you're all out.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
get me?
That's what it is for both of us, and that's the way it should be. And
Yeah.
like everything you do in life, like if you are halfway in with anything, most likely it's just not gonna work.
It's gonna fail.
Yeah. So you need to fully commit, like Matt did, jump
Yeah.
all the way in. I'm not saying quit your job,
Yeah.
but like if you want to do something, do it right.
100%.
That's why I
yeah.
always think.
I think that's the key takeaway from that podcast.
Yeah. Pay attention to the little details and work hard.
Yes. And on that note, thank you so much for joining us. It's lovely speaking to you again. And Wally, I'll see you soon again.
See you soon. Thanks for listening, guys.
Take care, guys.